Hey yo, what's up guys, it is your boy, I'm here to bring you another video today, and today guys is actually recommended a video. One of you guys actually did recommend this video, and what this video is me telling you guys what is the best unit, or not best unit, but the best equipment for each typing, which I'm going to do. So sit back, relax, and we're going to do this. So let me tell you real quick before I actually get into this what we're going to be covering. I will not be covering the mono specific equipment because all those equipments are very top tier on their respective mono teams, so keep that in mind if you're wondering where those are at. Those won't be on here because like I said, those are top tier for their specific mono teams, and I highly recommend you guys farm the mono dungeons to get them. Now moving on from that, we will be including true weapons, event weapons, crossover items, everything that you can think of will be on this list. So with all that being said, let's get into it. So real quick, before we go any further, let me just say that I will be probably recommending up to 2 to 3 items from each weapon class. Just so this video isn't insanely long, because there's a lot of weapons that are extremely good for a multitude of situations and a lot of classes, but I'm just going to be recommending the top picks most of the time for these classes. So let's get into it. These are in no order, by the way. These are going to just be literally as I see them and as I'm going down my equipment list, so these are in no order. But first off, we're going to have Curse Light Sword for 5-star physical. This is a phenomenal item. What does this do, OP? This gives you 500 to all stats. At max LB, this thing's on a 10-second cooldown. This also gives you 500 break power while on you. Well, the equipment does 500 break. And then also, what do you get with the skill? You increase your own arc gauge every time you use this baby by 5, which is really good. Also, its ability increases your crit rate by 10% and your crit damage by 10%. Pretty solid. It's a pretty minor buff, but hey, sometimes you actually can get it off. You'd be surprised how many times I've actually got that off in the actual fight. But still, this sword is amazing. Where do you get the sword from? You get this thing from the raid, specifically the AUG raid. So next time the raids come around, and I think AUG will be in them, I hope not, but he may be like one of the raids alongside the new raid, hopefully. He is in that, and this is how you get it. You do AUG, and you have a chance to get this Curse Light Sword. It's very top tier. Recommend getting it. Farm as many as you can. Moving on from that, we have Earth Mirror's True Weapon. Earth Mirror's True Weapon is a phenomenal weapon, not only on Earth Mirror, but on every single unit in the game that has a 5-star physical attack slot. So OP, what does this do? This is pretty much just like Curse Light Sword, but a little bit better. And why is that? This thing has a 500 attack up. It doesn't have 500 stats to all. It has a 10-second cooldown, 300 break, 2300% earth damage physical, and you increase your own arc gauge by 2 for 3 seconds. But not only this, it actually technically doesn't have a cooldown of 10 seconds. The reason for that is because it has equipment CT up level 3, which reduces equipment CT speed by 15%. And of course, you know, you have the Earth Mirror passive. Now, this is actually extremely good because, like I said, it's not really on a 10-second cooldown because it's 15% reduced from 10 seconds. So it's more so like on like what, like an 8-ish, 9-ish cooldown, I think. So you know, it's not that long, and it also gives you 2 arc gauge for 3 seconds, which is more than Curse Light Sword. It's literally more than it by 1, and this is a phenomenal item because it's not only going to give you art gen, it's also going to give you equipment CT up. You can get this item from any type of true weapon banner that comes out that has this item featured on it, and you can also buy this from the Rainbow Gem shop. Just because I do not have it, but I still want to tell you that it still is good. We're going to be doing the Spirit Sword next. I do not have the Finn True Weapon, but imagine this is the True Weapon. Pretty much the True Weapon is exactly the same to this. The only difference is that I think it does a little bit more damage. It has the same stats and everything. It has a 30-second skill CT speed, or equipment CT, instead of 50, I think. And it has a little bit more break power, but apart from that, it's pretty much completely the same. So what does this do, OP? This is a very good item if you're trying to sustain your support unit or whatever. What this will do is you will heal your own HP by 240 when the attack hits the enemy, and you also increase your own arc gauge by 20. Now, this thing has a 50-second cooldown, but the true weapon from Finn, like Finn's actual true weapon, which is this is the event counterpart, is actually on like a 30-second cooldown, if I'm not mistaken. So recommend picking up that if you want to, but like I said, the other 2 equips, especially Earth Mirror's true weapon, is the best in the business for just overall usefulness, so keep that in mind. Curse Light Sword, though, is always a free alternative if you're a free-to-play player and you can't spend money, or you know, you don't have enough rainbow gems. Of course, Curse Light Sword is the best free alternative, and I use it all the time. Also thought I would throw in a 4-star item to each of these. 4-star item that you can get, really good. Mako Knuckle, very phenomenal. What does this Mako Knuckle do? Now let me just say, you cannot get this currently in the game. This is only from the Kill la Kill event. At max LB, I don't have it at max LB, but I don't really use it for the skill at all. At max LB, I think this has a 5-second cooldown, so 1200% light damage every single second, or every 5 seconds. And then also this thing gives you skill CT speed and own skill CT speed, 15% down. Pretty good, reduces your own skill CT speed, making it to where your skills are activating quicker, which is very, very strong. Moving on from that, which is probably, I'm going to say, the best magical item in this game, apart from like the Earth relic that you can get. But this is probably the best magical item in the game currently, which is the Alma hat, or the magical hat. So what does this do? This is actually from the anniversary event, the 1-year anniversary event. I don't know if we'll ever get that event back, but if we do, I recommend farming this. Now, OPY. This thing's on a 50-second cooldown, 800 break, 6500% earth damage magic, and you increase your own arc gauge by 30 when own HP is 50% or more. Very, very good. You can pop this off as soon as the fight starts, or as soon as the battle starts. You're going to get 30 arc gauge instantly. 50-second cooldown, really good. Also, you get the ability of magic damage 20% up, so let's increase magic damage on this item. And also, if the unit you're using is a magic damage user, then you're going to increase their damage by 20% by default. Also, this magic damage buff is actually stackable, so if a unit has multiple 5-star magic slots, you can actually equip this onto them, and you can get a plus 40% magic damage increase on that. Moving on from that, we actually have probably a nuking equip. I would say this is probably the second best magic attack item in this game, 5-star wise, which is 9,900%, 99 with 999. Not elemental damage, magic, increase all allies' BE output and crit rate by 50% for 5 seconds. It has a very long CT, and then 999 break, and 500 attack. Now let me just say this item is really good for nuking comps, and comps that don't want to use a support unit and stuff like that. This item is extremely phenomenal. You can get a ton of BE. If you don't know what BE is actually the yellow orbs that you get when fighting, and those BE transfer into your art gauge. So the more BE that you can produce, pretty much the more art gauge you're going to get, which this increases your art, or your BE output by 50%, and it's stackable with itself. And also, it's going to be increasing your crit rate by 50%, so it's going to give you a little bit of a damage boost as well. If you don't know where to get this, is from the Rue and Roly Adventure. I think that's what the event is called. It's a very phenomenal equip. I recommend farming this. It's a really good equip. Also, its ability, since I didn't mention it, it's all stats up 10%. No, I actually don't have it, but one 4-star magic slot that I actually do want to recommend, because I haven't farmed it, I need to go farm it, I'm being a goof, is the 4-star magic item from the Clown Luck Unit event. That is amazing. Make sure you get it. It's a very good item. 5-star defense. Let me just say that this has a holy grail of good equips. So let's start out with the first. Holy armor is really good. What this does is it reduces target damage by 50% for 6 seconds, and you heal 10% of the damage you take. Really good. Also, you have noble aura, which auto recovers HP by 20 and increase attack by 30% of defense. Very good, especially if you're using this on someone like, for example, Thetis, because you're going to increase your attack by 30% of your defense. Dea's Jade is the next one that I want to recommend. This equipment is absolutely phenomenal. This is from Arena if you want to get it. Also, I didn't say it earlier, but the Elder Ridge, or the Holy Armor, is from the Scylla event. So if you didn't farm the Scylla event, you can get it from the Scylla event. This Dea's Jade, you can get this anytime you want. This is from Arena. I think it's after, I forgot how many wins, but I think it's 200 or 300 wins, something like that. And you get Dea's Jade. Really strong item, very good. Now, what does this item do, OP? This has a 500 defense stat, 50-second cooldown, max LB, reduce all allies damage by 15%, and you evade all status elements except feint for 10 seconds. Also, you have Hero King Shield as the ability, which increases all allies status elements resistance by 10%. Last but not least, this is actually from the Dungeon of Trials, and I recommend using it on some characters, but not actual tanks. This item, Lost Arms, is phenomenal on a multitude of units that are especially breakers like Platina. This gives you 350 attack, 350 defense, you get 45-second cooldown, and you also get break 3150. This 2800% water damage physical and reduce enemies attack by 40% for 8 seconds. I do not recommend using this on tanks, however. I recommend using this on breakers and some attackers that have a defense slot in them, because this is just going to make them hit a little bit harder. Also, it's going to give them a little bit more versatility, because you're able to lower the enemy's attack by 40%. But I do want to say that this item is very short range, and I do want to mention it because it still is really good. A lot of people use it on someone like Platina because of the amount of break power it has. It's very, very good. 4-star defense, I'm going to recommend this item, Phantom Mask. Phantom Mask is an absolute phenomenal item. What this does is negates all... Phantom Mask is going to be the 4-star item I recommend for this. This negates all damage for a total of 400, and reduces dark damage by 35% for 8 seconds, which is really good. good. You can take this up against pretty much rags, anybody, and you're going to be pretty much taking hardly any damage at all when you need it. It's a very good item. I would recommend also all the other versions of this mask. Now what I mean by that is, like, for example, Phantom Mask has multiple counterparts where they're called different items, but they pretty much do the same thing. So I recommend all those. 5-star heal, we're going to be coming out with the Thang Heim. We got 500 HP with the stat. We have it at 80-second cooldown at max LB. If you don't know what this thing does, this is an AoE cleanse and it gives everyone 1800 HP. Very good. The only downside of this equip is that it has 80-second cooldown. This is also from the gacha, so you have to keep that in mind as well. But this is still a phenomenal item, especially if you kind of lack healing, I guess, and also a cleanse. This kind of fills both of those roles. I wouldn't say that it's probably like top of the line, but most of the 5-star heal items are crossover, or they are, they're crossover, or they're like mono dungeon type stuff. So that's the whole reason why I said that, and I kind of wanted to include something from the base game that was a 5-star heal. Now also I want to say too, because I don't actually have them, the other 5-star heal item that I would recommend is Guts. Guts is from the Kill a Kill event. Kill a Kill absolutely brought a ton of wealth of equips, and Guts is actually extremely good. I think Guts gives you like 1,000 heal or something like that, and it just constantly heals. It's pretty much like a mini Fina True Art to an extent. Not really like the cleanse wise, but the burst of healing is ridiculous. So I recommend Guts for 5-star heal alongside Heim, and of course, you know, like I said, I wasn't mentioning the mono dungeons, but of course you can also use something like Relic 10K. For 4-star heal, I actually want to recommend 2 equips. I actually want to recommend one, the Dark Soul Pendant. Dark Soul Pendant is absolutely phenomenal equip on any attacker that can equip this. Is really good. Not only attackers, but also someone like Nier can also equip this, and it's good on her as well. What this does is it gives you 120 HP at max LB. Is going to give you a 50-second cooldown, and you're going to heal all allies HP by 15%. If you're a dark unit, you increase heal amount by 10%, so instead of you healing everyone by 15, you heal everyone by 25, and then if you're a demon, you increase own art gauge by 20. Very, very good. Not only that, the ability this thing has is ridiculous. You are cursed and blind resist by 100%. So literally you cannot be cursed or blind at all, and it's phenomenal, especially on units like Regulus and a unit like Vox, because both of them are demons and they can both take use of this item, and it makes them very, very good. Also, you farm this from the Fina and Regulus event. I think the Rise of the Morning Star is what that's called. So that's how you get this. Next is Relic Force Keratos. Keratos is a phenomenal item. It's highly beginner friendly, I want to say, and the reason for that is because it's on a 30-second skill CT. It's very good in the sense that it will heal all allies HP by 200, which is a decent amount, and you get burn, freeze, curse, seal, poison, and blind, and paralyze. You will completely heal that, so you'll cleanse those. All those right there you'll cleanse, which is really good because, for example, this is a lifesaver in something like the plant boss and you don't have a unit that can cleanse. You can go pick up this from the the glittering dragon. This is what's called, yeah, the glittering dragon, or the glowing sanctuary, I think it's called. You can go pick it up from that giant boss fight, and you can actually get this item, and it's phenomenal. It's an extremely good item. I recommend picking it up for that type of boss fight against like plant and all that. It can really help you. Now the most stacked equipment list on this entire thing. There's a ton of useful items, so let's get right into it. One of the best items in this entire game for 5-star support is of course Millim's clothes, and also I'm gonna throw in Mako's jacket or Goku's jacket into this as well. What Millim's clothes does is 250 HP, attack 125, defense 125. On a max LB, you know, 5 LB, you get 45-second cooldown, which is ridiculous, and you also increase all allies art gauge by 5 for 10 seconds, which means in total you're getting 50 art gauge. This is an absolute ridiculous equip. Also, not only that, like I said, I'm going to include Mako or Goku's jacket in this as well. Goku's jacket is from the Kill a Kill event, as Millim's clothes is of course from the Tensura event, and Goku's jacket is pretty much a stronger, I don't want to say stronger, but pretty much just as good as Millim's clothes, or Millim's clothes is just as good as Goku's jacket, let me say. So Goku's jacket is a 25 instantly art gauge to everyone. I think it's on a 30-second skill CT, and it gives everyone, I think, the same stats, you know, 30-second skill CT, and it also gives 25 art gauge, and then I think 25% damage up or something like that as well. It's a phenomenal equip, so if you have that, make sure you're using it. It's called Goku's jacket, but if you are a new player, more than likely you do not have it because that is from the Kill a Kill crossover event. Moving on from that, we have Beloved Specs. Beloved Specs is an absolutely phenomenal item as well. This is absolutely clutch in certain giant bosses and certain crest palaces where the boss increases their evasion because of its ability. Now, let me just say real quick, is that this item is from the Finn event, which hopefully returns soon because this is needed for most Crest Palace fights, unless you have Sunny, which gives everyone, 30% accuracy. So what does this do? In art mode, you increase our allies' art gauge by 1 for 15 seconds, so a total of 15 art gauge over, of course, the 15 seconds. The equipment CT mode, you reduce our allies' equipment CT by 10% for 15 seconds. Very good buffs. And then, of course, we got the accuracy master level 3, increase our allies' accuracy by 30%. This is a phenomenal item. 5-second skill CT is amazing. You can put this on someone like Rim. You can put a ton of low CT items on Rim and pretty much make her a healer, so which is kind of cool. So you could definitely get away with doing that. But of course, like I said, you're mostly using the monocle for stuff like Crest Palace or any type of boss that has evasion. Even without it, you can still use it. Like, for example, if you already have 2 AoE support items, like let's say Goku's jacket, Millim's clothes, you have those on, and then you also have another unit that can put on something. You can actually put on this just to reduce everyone's equipment CT. I'm pretty sure, that wouldn't be a bad buff to have. And like I said too, I don't know if I already explained it, but increase our allies' accuracy by 30% is extremely good, like I said, for giant bosses and whenever you need that accuracy buff. We also have Lesser Demon Heart here. Lesser Demon Heart is a phenomenal item. You get this from Cave of Deep Darkness, which is really good. This is also where that event or that boss is very easy as well. So you should be able to get this. If you are a new player, this is an item that I highly recommend you farm. This should be the first item you farm in this entire game. So this gives you increased art gauge by 5 for 20 seconds. It's on a 40-second skill CT at max LB, and you also get Revenge level 1, which is when near death you fill art gauge by 1. Now this is a phenomenal item for new players because this is a single target 5 art gauge for 20 seconds, which in total, of course, equals 100 art gauge. It's very, very good. Recommend putting it on your characters, especially if you're just starting out in the game and you're like, OP, I don't have any of these OP support items that you use in your videos. How do I get this? You get it from the Cave of Deep Darkness giant boss. Recommend you farm it. It's highly good. It's extremely good. Get it because it's going to do you wonders. Now, it's actually not out on global yet, but I do want to mention it as well on the topic of art genning items. I want to say that with the art gen items, that there is a item coming later on, which is a raid equip, which is AoE art gen. Like, for example, something like Millim's clothes or something like Goku's jacket. What this thing does, I think it gives everyone like 5 art gauge or something like that. It's pretty much the raid variant of the Lesser Demon Heart, except it's literally for AoE, and it's for everybody, like I said. That will be coming later on down the line, so make sure you guys do pick that up once it comes out. Of course, it's not in game, so I can't show it. Now, these are more so for Arena, but I thought that I would, mention them. So Chrono is pretty much for Arena. You never use this for anything else, but like I said, I thought I would mention them. These make Arena trivial, literally makes it so easy. Chrono, if you don't know what this does, increase allies damage by to enemies by 34% for 10 seconds. You actually don't need this to be max OB. I just max OB'd it for no reason. I also give you 250 to HP, 125 to attack, 125 to defense. And like I said, you don't need this to be max OB. It's just there for Arena. And you take this onto a unit in Arena, you pop it, use everybody else's equipment, then boom, the enemy team is dead. Since we're on the topic about Arena, I thought I would also mention Letter Bag. Letter Bag is extremely good. What this thing does is increase all allies damage by 25% and crit rate by 100% for 12 seconds. Literally makes Arena easy peasy. Recommend using this if you're trying to grind in Arena. Now, last but not least is the 4-star support items, which is also very, very good and very strong. So let's start with Keon first. Keon, if you don't know what this does, increase all allies break power by 28% for 20 seconds, and you autofill art gauge. Autofilling art gauge, that means you get, I think, 1 art gauge every second for 20 seconds. Very good. It's on a 40-second skill CT at no LB. I actually do not have this max LB because I actually have another equip that I use way more than it, but you could get this from the gacha if you want to do it. The equipment gacha will allow you to get Keon, and Keon is a phenomenal item. Gives you break power, gives you art gen. Really, really good. The other item I'm going to recommend is the Blood Crest Arc Ignite. Arc Ignite is probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, 4-star support item in this entire game. What this thing does is 60 HP, 30 attack, 30 defense. At max LB, you got a 15-second cooldown. You increase all allies art gauge by 10, and it also has skill speed up level 2, which owns skill CT down by 10%. Very good. Every 10 seconds, you're going to be giving everyone, every 15 seconds, my bad. Every 15 seconds, you're going to be giving everyone 10 art gauge. You can run about 4 of these babies on the same team. If every single one of your characters have a 4-star support slot, every 15 seconds, you're going to give everyone 40 art gauge pretty much, because if you have 4 characters using this, then of course everyone gets 40 art gauge within 15 seconds, every 15 seconds, let me say. So it's very, very good. Recommend picking this up. You can get this from the Berwick event, so make sure you farm that and get this item. This item is amazing. Since I talked about arena a little bit, I thought I would add something else in there. Terrace Conjunction is a phenomenal arena item as well. Wouldn't recommend using it anywhere else though, but you can use this in arena if you want to. Increase all allies crit rate by 100% for 9 seconds, 109-second cooldown. However, this is from the gacha equip, so keep that in mind. Same thing with Chrono and same thing with Letterbag. Those are from the gacha equip summon, so yeah, you would have to get it from there, but this makes arena really good as well, or really easy. Now I thought I would just add this just for the heck of it. This is still a really good item. What this is Rudolph, 4-star support item, 60 HP, 30 attack, 30 defense, max LB, you got a 35-second cooldown. What this thing does is it increases your target's art gauge by 20 and reduce equipment CT speed by 10% for 10 seconds. Also gives you skill speed up level 2, which increases your own skill CT speed by 10%. This is a phenomenal item. Make sure you get this, and yeah, that's gonna be it. Also want to say there is one item that I did not mention on the 5-star support item list, which includes Ramuru's Mask, but Ramuru's Mask or Magic Seal Mask is from, of course, the Tensura crossover event, and I want to say that Lesser Demon Heart is better than it overall. Like, it's going to give you more art gen. It's just that Ramuru's Mask gives you a better burst of art gen a lot quicker. Another thing I want to say too is that I didn't mention Fendal, which Fendal is from the Christmas crossover or Christmas summons. Fendal gives you a ton of art gen instantaneously. I think it's like 30 instantly, then like 3 art gauge over like 10 seconds or something like that, so in total you get like 60 art gauge, which is really good. So I would mention that as well, but I don't have it. And like I said, I think it's kind of falling off a little bit because single target art gen items aren't as good as they used to be because of items like Millim's clothes, Goku's jacket, and so on, especially the new raid equip coming out later on down the line. And guys, that is actually going to be my list for the best items in this game, the best equipment items in this entire game. That is what I believe to be the best equipment items in the game. Now of course I didn't mention everything. Like for example, I didn't mention Relic Mav, which is a phenomenal break power 4-star physical item. You know, I didn't mention a lot of that stuff because a lot of stuff, you know, I'm trying to go for versatility and what will help out a vast majority of players and a vast range of units than just going for certain specific units. So yeah, apart from that though guys, that's actually going to be it for the video today. Thank you all for coming out, man. Sorry for the longer video, but you know, it's a long list, man. It's a long list. But yeah guys, it's going to be it, man. Thank you all for coming out. Your boy P. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out guys. Peace.